Hola friends, we are back for another video. This is my second attempt at making this video just because the first time it went so long. Even I wouldn't watch something that long. So this video will be responding to the questions you left. I put out a survey to the best students in the world, of course, and they left me some questions regarding being a Spanish teacher. And I'm going to answer those questions, but I'm going to try and answer each question in less than a minute so we can all watch this video and not lose our attention. Here we go. Okay, question number 1. When did you start talking in Spanish and why? So when did I start talking in Spanish? Okay, I started taking Spanish when I was, I think, in about 3rd grade. So my grammar school started doing that. So I could say short phrases and things like that when I was pretty young, but like actually speaking in Spanish, participating in conversations, I'd say that started more around high school and then definitely more comfortably in college. And then the why of talking in Spanish. So obviously, I guess I needed to talk in Spanish if I was talking in Spanish, but why did I take Spanish is it was what was offered when I was younger and I stuck with it. And that's literally about it. Okay, number 2. How long do you think it takes to learn a foreign language? I think what matters the most is how you study your foreign language. Like you have to put in the time, but also how you study it matters. So obviously I've been taking Spanish for years and years and years, but my proficiency in Spanish I don't think came about until I really started taking it every day. Like I was pretty good at Spanish when I was younger in like grammar school, but I'd say having it every day in high school, having a class taught in Spanish every day in high school, it was an experience that like outside of that environment, I was not going to be as proficient. If I didn't listen to it every day, didn't have the chance to speak it, wasn't reading, wasn't writing, kind of immersing myself in it. So I would say it matters more how you study Spanish and your immersion experience. I don't want to give a specific timeline. It's not like you hit high school or you hit 8th grade and boom, like all of a sudden you've got it all. And I also still consider myself to be a Spanish learner. I'm a lifelong learner, so yeah. It is super different already knowing a foreign language, already knowing a Latin-based language, having gone through high school, college, just all those years of basic education, taking a foreign language. So that might quote unquote speed up the process, but again, just pay attention to how you're studying, what you're doing. What is your favorite place you have been outside of the United States? This is absolutely like the hardest question I get asked because there's just no simple answer. I will say for the sake of this video, the trip that probably changed my life was going to Peru. I did that my sophomore year of college. It was a week-long trip. It was like a service and culture trip. We just got to see all different parts of like Peruvian history and the natural landscape, and it was just so beautiful. And then we did some service as well. It was the first time, number 1, I had been in a Spanish-speaking country and I had to speak Spanish. Like there were certain situations in which I could not speak English to get something, which was really cool. So that was really challenging. That kind of was the wake-up call, but I think it also opened the floodgates of my Spanish learning, and it kind of turned something on in my brain that hadn't been turned on before. It was like, oh wow, that's how this works. When you're forced to speak Spanish, this is how this happens. So I would say Peru was like a very life-changing trip, but all my other trips I would not change for the world. So I've been to, when I was younger, I went to Canada. So I've been to Canada, Peru, Costa Rica, Panama, Ecuador, Spain, Italy, and then obviously Vatican City. So 8 different countries, loved them all. Quote unquote, don't have a favorite, but I would say Peru was a really significant trip. May not have traveled to all those other places if I hadn't gone to Peru. Number 4, how many years of studying did it take for you to become fluent? Okay, so the idea of fluency, it's kind of hard. I've taken something called, I guess, a proficiency test. It's necessary to become a teacher of a foreign language, so I have taken that. My score was satisfying to me. However, I would say this, so I took this test, I guess it was about a year or so after I graduated, so I was not in a school setting, I was not studying for this in school. I went to Ecuador later that year, right? I took this test in the fall, I went to Ecuador in the spring, I came back from Ecuador and I was like, I wish I took the test now, because the practice I had in Ecuador was so much better than any studying I could have done for this test, just speaking in Spanish for a week because I had to. So I will say there's that factor when you're talking about fluency versus proficiency. Like, without being immersed in a foreign culture, what can I produce for you right now? Yeah, I would say I'm proficient in Spanish. After a little bit of practice or being immersed in a foreign country again, I would say I'm fluent in Spanish. How long did it take for me to become proficient or fluent? I would say I comfortably navigated college. Like, I felt very prepared from high school and navigated college well. So I would say somewhere high school, college, probably more towards the end of college, and my travels abroad really made me aware of my fluency / proficiency. But again, don't think of like, after 4 years of studying Spanish, you're going to be, fluent in Spanish. It doesn't quite work that way. It matters how you put in the time, how you study. Number 5, what inspired you to start learning Spanish? I don't think anything inspired me particularly because it wasn't a choice. However, I do wonder if it had been a choice, like that, if that's what I would have picked, and I think so. I love Spanish, so I think the more important part of this question is what inspired me to stick with Spanish. Is I absolutely love Spanish. It is my favorite thing. Number 6, if you could be anything but a Spanish teacher, what would it be? That is a very good question. Number 1, I have done other things besides be a Spanish teacher. I have worked various office jobs in ministry and just done a few different things. So I have a little bit more experience than just being a Spanish teacher, but I will say being a Spanish teacher so far has been my favorite. If I could not be a Spanish teacher, but Spanish was still an option, I hope I'd be living somewhere in Latin America, hopefully working with people because office jobs are just not my forte. And yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes I think it'd be fun to be like a travel vlogger. That would be really cool. I know what I enjoy. I know my gifts and my talents and my strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining me. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, my dear friends, and I will see you soon. Hasta pronto.